Welcome back to Crunch My Numbers, where we explore strategies that help business owners create clarity and take control of their operations. I'm your host, Paul Redmond, and in today's episode, we're tackling the all too common issue for entrepreneurs, overwhelm caused by complexity. In today's fast-paced business world, many business owners are juggling multiple roles, managing complex family dynamics and trying to build effective teams. But when the complexity becomes overwhelming, it can lead to burnout and stagnation. We're going to introduce a model to help you simplify complexity and get you back on track towards strategic growth. So the first part of this, we're just going to look at the problem that overwhelm causes. So many owners find themselves, as we said, mapping out family dynamics, multiple different businesses and team challenges. So the issue with this is, as you're managing complex family dynamics, multiple businesses and team challenges, the feelings of overwhelm and stress are very, very difficult to cope with, even from a mental health perspective. So demand for constant attention makes it so difficult to focus on what you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to do, and leaves you feeling stuck and you really don't know where to turn. So even if I look ahead, there's so many people coming at you at one point in time. So you're getting questions from every particular area. They can sometimes go like problem, crisis. So this is really difficult to take. And what happens is you become used to it and you become accustomed to the complexity it is. And it becomes a little bit of a drug and there's a little bit of adrenaline. But over a period of time, this issue can cause, it just causes burnout. And burnout is a terrible place for people to be in. And, on the impact this can have on your business and personal life, if you don't do this and you start feeling burnout, what's going to happen is your decision making is going to reduce. Your business is going to stagnate. You're not going to be able to grow. Everything you do in your business feels urgent. And it's hard to know where to start, where to continue. And it's really, you just get paralyzed by the overwhelm and the complexity. In a personal life, it has a massive effect on relationships. It can have a massive effect on your health. And it can have a massive effect on what we call your wealth. And it's not just financial wealth, it's just the wealth of your lifestyle in general. So how are we going to get through this and what is the model? So we have this complex simplification model that we use. And I just want to introduce this. So what is this? It's a 3-step model. Again, the model is simple, but it can be difficult to implement. And it is, you identify the complexity and where the source of complexity is really coming from. So how do you do that? You take a step back. You identify what's causing the number one issue that you have that's causing the overwhelm. It could be they're just doing too much. It could be the overlap of business responsibilities, family obligations, or issues with your team, or issues with a client, or issues with a lack of client, and all of these. And if you layer one of these on top of the other, the really simple problem can then become a really big problem. So you need to get your list out, you need to write down your list, and you need to brain dump all of the complex issues that you have going on. And even if it's something that's an open loop, just get it down on a piece of paper and get it out of your head. That itself just starts to create a plan for you, no matter what you do, but it clears your mind a lot. The second step in all of this is you need to prioritize. So once you've identified the sources, the next thing you really need to do is just put some priority on the focus. And that's critical because if you have a list of 1 to 20, you need to take the top 3. So the top 3 issues that you have, you need to go 1, 2, 3. And then what you need to do is you need to say, well, the number one issue that I have is this issue number 2. If I sort that, everything else starts to become a lot clearer and a lot easier. And then step 3 is you need to delegate and you need to start automation, and you need to automate a lot of the repetitive tasks that you're doing. They say that more than 60% of your tasks on a daily and weekly basis are repetitive. Even looking at your habits that you get up to in the morning, the same breakfast that you eat, the same lunch that you eat, the same way you drive to work, the same way you get into your car, the same way as you pack your car or unpack. All of this is repetitive. So what we need to do is when we identify the repetitive tasks, it frees up the mind and frees up the ability to actually just starting to automate those tasks. And I like to do a not to-do list. I know it sounds ridiculous, but things I'm not going to do anymore. And then I just stop doing them. And then we start delegating that list out to somebody, because some of the things, when you stop doing them, didn't need to be done at all, because it just, you formed the habit of always doing that. So then it always became the thing to do. So the next thing we need to look at, we need to talk about, is why simplifying complexity is crucial. So the importance of simplification. So the overwhelm from complexity doesn't just hurt productivity. It can have a negative impact, as we said, on your mental well-being, your overall business performance, and your family life. So when you're buried in your daily operational stress, it's hard to focus and manage long-term goals and freedom goals and things like freedom numbers. To explain this, I'm just going to say, just think of a set, and I'm looking on the desk here, a set of tangled headphones. The more you pull without a plan, the tighter the knot gets. Taking time to untangle them methodically restores order and functionality. The same is true for simplifying complexity in your business. So it's like trying to untangle a rope. You have to actually have patience. You have to have a methodology for how you're going to do it. And the exact same thing applies to simplifying complexity within your life. So the next step we want to talk about is, how do we simplify complexity within your business? And we'll walk through the 3 steps. Now, we briefly talked about them earlier on, but the first step again is to identify the complexity sources. Really, really important to identify them. Prioritize and streamline and delegate and automate. Now, we went through those 3 steps. Let us look at a particular case study on how this would apply within your business. Let's look at, say, your financial systems within your business. So within your business, you have your debtors, your creditors. The debtors are the people who owe you money. The creditors are the people you owe money to. You have your profit and loss account, which is a statement that tells you how much money you made or lost over a period of time. You have a balance sheet, which is the snapshot of a photograph of your business at a particular date and time. So if you looked at your balance sheet today, you would list all the things that you own, which are your assets, all the money that you're owed, all the money that you owe, and you plan out your balance sheet. You have your fixed assets, your current assets, your current liabilities, and then you have your share capital or your capital account, depending on the methodology you have. So these are complex statements that you need to comprehend in terms of understanding. And then you have your bookkeeping, and then you may have VAT, you may have corporation tax, you may have income tax. You're seeing all these tax headings coming at you. And then you need to understand, when you order products or services, how long it takes to get the order in, to taking that order, running it through. So you order a piece of equipment for your business that you're going to resell. Say, again, the order comes in, you order it, it gets delivered. There's a period of time, there's a cycle of the inflow once it's ordered. Then you have time to pay for it. Then you sell that product or services and you get time. And this cash flow cycle can be very complex within your business. Just looking at the complexity within your business, you also then have situations like, what system do you use for your business? And you might have, you have banking online, you have Xero, you have bookkeeping, you have accounts production, you have invoices going out. And all of this, again, is really complex. So what we're saying is identify the sources within that. And in a later episode of the podcast, we're going to be talking about this business architecture and how to actually go through in your own business. However, just standing back and taking a look at that. And then there's a lot of business owners we find don't actually understand the statements that are coming out from their business. And they don't really want to understand them, but because it's complex in certain instances. So being able to simplify that and being able to prioritize it and delegate a lot of that work to somebody who does want to do the work and who is really a trusted team member, ensuring that they have the support and the training when you're automating and delegating this. So every area of your life has the same level of complexity. You go to your home life, you have the complexity of running a family budget. You have the complexity of kids going to matches and transport and all of that side of it. So again, we're talking about business here, but the same level of complexity applies in your personal life. And what we're saying again, and we said it earlier on, is layering these complex issues one on top of the other can have an overwhelming effect. So just take the analogy then of the headphones, and they all twisted up and they all in a knot. And you're saying to yourself, how can I untangle all of this web? And you sit down and you start with one little knot and you open it out and then you start with the next. It's the very same. There's no difference in it. So all we're saying to you is, again, like everything else, take a step back, discover what the problem is, put a plan in place and execute it. The three main pillars of everything we talk about: discovery, planning and execution. Where are you now with this issue? Where are you trying to get to? And how can you get there? The same three questions we ask every time. So as you start listening to the podcast, you're going to see a lot of overlap in the three questions, the issues, how to solve the issues. So what I just want to conclude this, I just want to say that if you're feeling overwhelmed by the complexity in your business, here's some steps to take today to simplify all of that. Just conduct a complexity audit. Evaluate your responsibilities and list all the areas that's causing you most stress. Set the priorities, identify the issues which you need to focus on today, which is the biggest issue that you have. Develop a delegation plan to delegate it to somebody else. Understand that you can use automation tools for automating a huge amount of the tasks that you have in terms of the complexity around your business, or you can talk to us and we will do that for you. So my closing thoughts on all of this are, by simplifying complexity, you create the space to focus on what really matters: growing your business and achieving your goals. So don't let complexity hold you back from reaching your full potential. And in the next episode, we're going to talk about how to define and execute a clear strategic direction for your business. And we'll explore the essential elements in setting goals and building roadmaps. And so stay tuned, and thank you for staying to the end. And if anything in this resonates with you, please reach out to us. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.